Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So now I'll be talking about Zyon Grand, which will be launching very soon also. So Zyon Grand itself is located beside Havelock MRT only, just right beside River Valley, I would say. So fact sheet itself, Zyon Grand is also a 99-year leasehold development, total of 706 units. Despite being over 700 units, right? If you have been following the launches in River Valley itself, and you remember there's this development called River Green, right? River Green itself, right? For every floor, you will have over 10 units sharing the same lift lobby. But over here in Zyon Grand, right, the developers actually plan it very well, I would say. So over here at Zyon Grand, for every lift landing, right, you'll be serving 5 to 6 units, including the unit with the private lift. So excluding the private lift, you only have 5 units sharing the lift lobby. So I would say the density here is very good. You still have your privacy and everything at each of your lift landing. So developers itself, developed jointly by CDL and Mitsui. So Mitsui itself is a very well-known developer from Japan, and they have done many global projects. So the unit mix itself over here, unlike Promenade Peak, which is also the recent launch in River Valley, over here you can see that the bigger units, right, start all the way from level 2 onwards. Unlike PP, right, Promenade, which actually the bigger units with private lift, they only start from 44 stories onwards. So over here you can also see that the 1 and 2 bedder takes up quite a certain percent of the total unit mix. And in this district, right, I would say that for the smaller units, there are a lot of ready supply. Also in River Green and Promenade Peak, which they just launched, there are a lot of small units supplied in the market currently. So if you are looking to buy a small unit, right, you have to really choose very carefully next time when you sell. What is your advantage and how can you exit better than your competitors? Overview of this Zyon Grand itself, you can see 2 stories of residential and 1 story of service apartment. Previously, when this plot of land was launched, right, there is only 1 lone bid, which means there's only 1 bidder who bid for this, which is CDL and Mitsui itself. So people has been wondering how come there is only 1 bid for this land in such a prime area. So basically because there's a service apartment component over here. Not all developers, right, they are so, I would say, cash rich to actually park their money at the service apartment. Why they have to park at the service apartment? Mainly because they cannot sell the service apartment, right? They have to get their money back through their rental yield itself. So where they can get their money is only from the sale of the 2 blocks of the residential, right? Because once they sell, you have to pay them already. But for the service apartment, they can only rent it out and play the rental game like the hotel kind of style in terms of the business model. And for CDL, in fact, they actually also have some hotel business, so they are not new in this, and they were actually there to push forward for this land bid itself. So how does it impact you? Just now, as I mentioned, right, because the developers, they have to get their ROI immediately back from somewhere else, which is from the sale of the residential units. So despite the land being only 1,200 PSF, you don't expect them to sell you very cheap for the residential units. And for the pros of it, service apartment will actually help to increase the rental yield in this development. So assuming today you are being posted overseas, right, you have to try out whether you can adapt to that country or not. So first thing first, when you go overseas, you'll be staying at the hotel. So probably about 1-2 weeks, you will move on to a service apartment. That's quite the norm. So service apartment, usually they rent you probably like 3 months, 4 months or 6 months, short term or medium term kind of rental. You will test it out. Okay, you feel that you are comfortable in this country, then you will go ahead and look for a condo for a rental. Because condo, all these, they go by 1 year, 2 year, 3 year lease. And of course, the rental itself will be more affordable compared to service apartments and even hotels. So after the expats, they come and stay in this service apartment over here, and they are very used to this development and they are used to the environment over here. So naturally, they will be looking at this development or the surrounding projects to rent back and continue staying here because they are already so used to it. Site plan. So over here, you can see these are the 2 blocks of residential. This grey out one is the service apartment. And moving on, this is more of an overview. You can see that the surrounding units, right, or the surrounding buildings itself is all 20 over story, 30 over story, right? So in Zyon Grand, if you actually get the correct facing, and of course you have to, you don't tell me you choose level 10, you choose a higher unit, right, you will get the whole unblocked view of the area. Next question, many people has been asking, but in River Valley there are a lot of launches ready. Will there be an oversupply issue? Right, over here you can see River Green, River Valley Green, River Modern, Promenade and Zyon Grand. Altogether, we are looking at about 2,800 over units here in River Valley, launching almost all together, right? Maybe a 1 year gap, but that's not going to make much difference. So which project will you be looking out for? So today as a buyer, you have to make sure that you are choosing the most attractive development and the most attractive layout out of all these new launches over here. So when it comes to selling, right, you will not get played out. In a video I done previously, I actually shared about the oversupply in Lentor collection, because as you know, Lentor, there are also many plots of land being launched. So there's also an oversupply issue over in Lentor, and whether this is an advantage for you as a buyer or is a disadvantage. So today, assuming you are a developer, you are supposed to sell out your project in this particular area, but you have a lot of competition. So first thing that comes to your mind is you have to be very sensitive to your pricing strategy. You cannot purposely price until too high, because if not, you'll be the only development that nobody wants to buy. So all these developers, they are pricing their units very sensitively. I would say that the price itself is very competitive. So during new launches, right, developers are the one who needs to be very careful, because they have to be very sensitive in terms of their selling price. So in future, when you buy into any of these units over here, in future when you are looking to sell, then you as the owner, you have to be very careful and know who are your competitors. So the only thing that you can do now is, amongst all these projects and units over here, right, you have to choose something that is the most attractive. Even as a resale buyer, right, you will feel that, hey, I want to go into this development. Because for Zyon Grand itself, right, the architecture structure is also very nice. So at night, right, the top of the building looks like a Singapore orchid. In terms of architecture itself, this development will definitely stand out. So if you drive along anywhere around here, Zyon Grand is 62 story high. You will definitely not miss this iconic orchid on top of a 62 stories building. So basically, the analogy is something like when you drive along Marina, right, you will not miss MBS, something like that. Now we will jump on into the layouts in Zyon Grand. Estimated price about starting from 2,700 all the way to 3,006. So today we'll be using the average of 3,001 for the project analysis purpose. First layout, 1 plus study, 474 square feet. There is no balcony if you notice. Starting price will be from 1.3x onwards. And take a look at these fins over here. For now, nobody knows what the fins will look like and whether it will block any natural sunlight coming into the unit. This one I won't be able to advise for now because it's not announced yet. So 1 plus study, the study is actually tucked at this corner over here. Let's take a look at the rental yield in Riviera. Why am I using Riviera? Is because Riviera is only just right beside Zyon Grand only. So that's the best comparison we can use. Looking at 3,001 PSF, buying into a 1 plus study in Zyon Grand, you'll be looking at about 1.47 million. Rental, we will just use 4,008, which is very conservative already, because you take a look at this review, the transacted price over here goes up all the way to 5,005, 5,003, 5,000. So we are just using 4,008. I would say that is very conservative. Rental yield, you'll be looking at 3.9%. Next up, 2 bed 1 bath, 538 square feet. Same thing, there is no balcony. You don't see any balcony here. Speculating, you'll be starting from 1.4x. Okay, you can see over here there is a proper designated dining area. So same thing, using an average of a 3,100 PSF, you'll be looking at 1.667 million for Zyon Grand, and the rental will be using 5,005. Rental yield, you'll be getting about 3.9. So over here we are using 5,005 for the 2 bed 1 bath unit. 2 bed 2 bath, 646 square feet. Over here there will be balcony already. Master bath also has windows to it, and you'll be starting from 1.7x million. I would say it's a RCR pricing in today's market, but with the same quantum, right, you can actually come into River Valley already. So last layout for the 2 bedroom is a 2 plus study, 721 square feet, comes with a balcony also. Decent study area. You can see that the study area is also quite big itself, tucked in this corner. So the price we'll be looking at is probably around 2 million. I would say this 2 plus study is more for own stay. If you are looking for a rental yield in this 2 plus study unit, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. You might want to take a look at the normal 2 bed 2 bath or 2 bed 1 bath over here. Conclusion for the 2 bedder, right? My top choice will be the 2 bed 1 bath itself. Why? Because there is a strong rental yield and it's a very low entry price for a 2 bedder. If you notice, right, in this River Valley itself, most of the units over here for the 2 bedders is a proper 2 bed 2 bath. There is no like a compact or 2 bed 1 bath. Not much, I would say, right over here in River Valley. So in River Valley, if you are looking at a 2 bedder and you don't mind a more compact unit, you can consider this 2 bed 1 bath because your competition wouldn't be so high. The price has already been accepted in Riviera for a similar size. As I mentioned just now, Riviera is already transacting above 1.7 million. Next, we'll take take a look at the 3 bedrooms, 818 square feet and 861 square feet. So this 818 square feet is very similar to Rivier 2 plus study size, this 818 square feet. So over in Rivier, right, for a 2 plus study, they are already transacting above 2.5 million. So over here in Zyon, 818 square feet, proper 3 bedroom, master bed, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, all can fit at least a queen size. Decent 3-bedder over here, you will be looking at a starting price of estimated from 2.2 million onwards. And like I mentioned earlier, Rivier 2 plus study already transacted 2.5 million and above. So we'll take a look at this 861 square feet. This one has an enclosable kitchen, right? Compared to this 818 square feet is an open kitchen kind of layout. So if let's say your budget do allow, I would say that this 861 square feet is a more preferred layout. Next will be the 3 plus study. There is 1055 and 1076 square feet. So if you are taking a closer look and thinking what is the difference, because it more or less just looks like a mirror image, right? It's actually just this distance over here. I would say insignificant kind of difference. So now we'll take a look at a 3-bedder price comparison. We'll be taking a look at Well Hill Residences. So over here you can see that they have already transacted 2.5, 2.6, or even up to, you can see over here, right, the 3-bedder 800 over square feet, or even the bigger with the study, how much they are already transacting over 4 million up to 4.5 million already. So this price in River Valley, right, you might be thinking who will be able to afford. So now we talk about the affordability. You take a look at the nearby HDB, Dawson, Queenstown, or even Clementi. The profit for those 4-room BTO owners, right, they can easily use their profit to come and down pay for this 2 million over quantum kind of condo. Next, we will be talking about a 4-bedder, 1421 square feet, comes with a private lift itself. So this layout, I would say actually nothing much to complain about. Very standard, very decent kind of layout. Private lift, enclosable kitchen, utility, master bedroom, common room, and the junior master. This layout, I would say, is a very solid layout. Entry price will be very attractive also, possibly around 3.8x million. 4-bedder layout, we also have a 1518 and 1615 square feet. So 1615 comes with an additional study area, which is tucked over here at this corner beside the junior master. So for the bigger layout of the 4-bedroom, we are definitely looking at above 4 million kind of quantum. And if you compare it to Promenade Peak, which was previously launched, their 4-bedder is actually starting from 4.4 million onwards. So over here, you are actually entering at least 400,000 lower than your neighbor already. For affordability wise, right, I would say for 4 million onwards kind of quantum, you will be getting buyers who are EC upgraders. As you can see in the previous news, even like 100 Palms, the EC owners, they are clocking more than 1 million in profit. And all this profit, right, if they actually utilize it well, they can use it to roll and upgrade to a private condo. Last but not least, 5-bedder, 1819 square feet, also comes with a private lift. I would say the 5-bedroom is very nice. Or in fact, the penthouse will be even nicer. Imagine you wake up, you are overlooking the whole view of Singapore. So for 5-bedroom itself, we are looking at quantum easily above, I would say, starting from 5 million onwards or above 5 million. And for the penthouse, it will be around 10 million. So for those people who are thinking, hey, crazy, who will be buying this 10 million penthouse? Not forgetting, previously, Jetscape penthouse was sold for close to 11 million already. And that's in Jetscape. Jetscape is near to Bishan. So over here, we are in a central location at River Valley, almost the heart of Singapore, and you'll be getting a penthouse for 10 million. Of course, that is not something that anybody can afford, but for this 5-bedder itself, the starting price, as I mentioned previously, will be from 5 million onwards. I think for this, probably those people who are able to stretch a little bit, they'll be able to afford. So now I've come to the end of my project analysis for Zyon Grand. If you do have any question, feel free to scan on the QR and reach out to me. It might not be just about the location or what are the different type of layouts, or you just want a floor plan. Right? If you need a more comprehensive analysis on what is the best layout, at what price am I supposed to walk away from this development, things like that, feel free to reach out to me. I will help you to compare with the neighboring projects, whether is this project and this layout worth the buy or not. If not, please help to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.